Hi friends, I'm Quenby Gallahan, licensed marriage and family therapist. I've been a therapist for over a decade in the state of California, and this channel, The Grateful Therapist, is all about mental health and personal growth. So if you like that kind of content, make sure to subscribe so you know when my next video comes out. Today's video, I'm going to tackle this question of, do I need therapy? And I want to talk about how I really don't think you need to be scared of trying therapy. I personally think therapy can benefit anyone and everyone. I've heard people say things like, I don't need therapy, I'm not messed up, or therapy is for people with major mental issues. And it's true that therapists are trained to treat more significant mental health issues like anxiety and panic attacks, depression, personality disorders. So if you have something like that, and especially if you're taking medication for it, your treatment outcomes are going to be the best if you're combining therapy and medication. But therapy is not just for people that have a significant mental health issue like that. Therapy can be for anyone who is interested in knowing themselves better and understanding themselves and maybe making some healthy change in their life or growing in certain ways. So you might be someone who's pretty content overall in your life and pretty high functioning, but maybe there are some things you've always wanted to accomplish and for some reason you just don't do it. You're not living the life that you dreamed of. A therapist can really help you explore some of what is getting in your way and stopping you from living the life that you really want to be living and being the person you want to be in the world. A therapist is a person just like you and me. Every therapist has a different style, a different personality, but they're there to help you and help listen to you so that you can be the very best person that you want to be. A tip, something that I think is really key and important though, is you have to find the right therapist. So what is the right therapist? There are so many different types of therapists who practice different kinds of therapy. I'll definitely be making some other videos about things like cognitive behavioral therapy, EMDR, art therapy, because different therapists use different modalities. But in my opinion, the very most important thing when choosing a therapist is that it has to be someone that you feel comfortable with. Sometimes you have to shop around and do a little bit of research to find the right therapist. When I've been looking for a new therapist in my life, I've sometimes gone to 2 or 3 people until I settle with the right person. And really, when you find the right therapist, you will know it. You just feel comfortable and you'll feel like, I can talk to this person. This is someone I think will probably get me. Because there are all different types of therapies and interventions depending on what issue you're in therapy for. But the most important thing is that you feel like you can talk to the therapist. You want to just have the feeling like, I feel comfortable with this person. I can probably learn to open up and talk to this person. And it's okay to ask questions in therapy. You can ask your therapist questions. Most therapists will want to focus their time and energy on you. That's one of the rare things about therapy that I think is so helpful and meaningful. How many opportunities do we have in life where someone is there for almost an hour just to listen to us, just to be there for us? In this busy world where everybody seems stressed and busy and has so much going on with their own life, it's often hard to find somebody that just wants to listen to you, hear your experiences, hear what life is about for you, and try and help you make things better. It's such a rare and unique opportunity, which is another reason why I think, do you need therapy? Anybody can benefit from therapy. Who couldn't benefit from a person sitting with them for almost an hour, focusing their attention on you and what your needs are and really trying to hear you and understand you? I think that is such an essential human need to feel heard and understood. So I think almost anybody, whether you have kind of what you'd consider a small problem or much more significant mental health issues, can benefit from a relationship with a therapist. So how are you going to find this therapist that's just right for you? Sometimes it takes a little bit of time and doing some research, but I highly recommend it. It's so worth the time and little bit of money investment you might make to find the right person. One of the best ways to find a good therapist is to ask around your family and friends and say, hey, I'm thinking about going to therapy. Do you know anyone? Have you ever used anyone? I think you might be surprised to learn how many people in your life have been to a therapist, and they can probably recommend someone great for you. You can also do your own Google search in your area and find a therapist. Sometimes we have websites. I personally don't, because I do mostly word of mouth referrals in my private practice. But some people have a website, or they might have a page on Psychology Today, so you can take a look at their picture and hear a little bit about how they practice and do a little research. You also might need to make a few appointments with people just to try it out and then decide which therapist feels right for you, because it's just, I can't emphasize enough how important it is to find a therapist that is a good fit, especially if you happen to be a parent looking for a therapist for your teenager or child. I see the majority of people in my private practice are teenagers. I see kids, I see individuals and families, but my reputation is that I work really well with teens. So you want to find someone who really gets teenagers, and you never want to force a teenager into therapy or into therapy with someone they don't feel really comfortable with. Teenagers are really intuitive, and they know right away who's being authentic with them and who's not. So it's definitely worth trying to find the right person. And one of the best ways to do that is to ask around family and friends, or ask the school counselor, or someone. You could ask your physician for a word of mouth referral, or you can research online and just try and find someone and then call around and see who you think is going to be the best fit. You should know that therapy is confidential. You don't have to tell anyone you're in therapy if you don't feel comfortable with that. And your therapist can't tell anybody that you're there either. They can't even acknowledge legally that you're their client unless they're worried and they have to break confidentiality because of safety issues. So my general rule of thumb is to try a therapist at least 2 or 3 times to see if that person is going to be right for you, if it's the right connection and the right fit. And trust me, you will know if it's the right fit or not. Try it a few times and see if you think it's going to work for you. And you should know, therapy is not a quick fix model. Some therapists do what they call short-term therapy, and it might be 6 or 8 sessions, but most of us do longer-term therapy. And whatever issues you're going there for, nobody has a magic wand that can just make them go away. It takes time to work through whatever issues you have. So be prepared to be in therapy from anywhere from 6 weeks to a year. And remember, it is totally okay to ask your therapist questions, whether it's a few minutes on the phone before your first session or when you go to your first session. You can ask them about how long do you usually see people? What type of interventions do you like to do? Are you a therapist who practices mindfulness and wants to just stay in the moment with what is happening right now? Do you do cognitive behavioral, solution focused? Or are you someone who likes to take their time, go into the past, go into past family relationships and see how they're still affecting your choices, behaviors, decisions today? You can ask your therapist questions. It's okay. And it's okay to go to as many therapists as you need until you find the perfect therapist for you at that time. Most therapists prefer to see their clients once a week because therapy is a process. Like I said, it's not 1 or 2 sessions and you're suddenly healed or fixed. It's a process, and often they'll give you things to think about or work on in the weeks between appointments. And usually a therapy session is a 50-minute hour. 50, so that therapists have about 10 minutes in between clients to take notes or call back a client or something like that. And the price range is totally going to vary. It depends whether you go see a therapist in a clinic setting or in private practice. It depends where you live. So be sure to ask those questions. And so in sum, to answer, do you need therapy? I think most people can benefit at some time in their life from therapy, whether it's because you've been diagnosed with depression, anxiety, or some mental health issue, or you've experienced some trauma, then I think, yeah, you should be in therapy so that you can work through some of those things, learn some things so that you can live your best, healthiest life. Therapy is also great for anyone who has any kind of issues with relationships, whether it's your family you have issues with, whether it's friends or a significant relationship. My field as a licensed marriage and family therapist really focuses on relationships. And if you have a significant other, a partner, or you're married, therapy can really help you learn how to connect, have more intimacy, fight fair fighting, we often call it. It can help with communication skills. So therapy can help improve your life, help you feel more happy or more content, maybe find more peace, not be as reactive, and really get to know yourself more, what motivates you, what obstacles get in your way. It's all about learning about yourself so that you can lead the healthiest, best life for you at any given time. Now, I'm not gonna lie and tell you that therapy is fun and happy and comfortable all the time, because it's not. It's a process of helping you understand yourself, learning and growing. So you might have to stretch a little, and sometimes therapy can be uncomfortable in that 50-minute session where you're going back and remembering how you were treated by your mother, and so that influences how you now treat your partner in relationship. It can be uncomfortable to bring up old memories or certain feelings, thoughts, judgments you have about yourself. It can be kind of uncomfortable. So I always advise my clients to take the long haul or long-term view. It may be a little uncomfortable while you're in therapy, working to understand something, while you're maybe trying to practice making changes, maybe trying out new behaviors or new ways of speaking. It can sometimes be a little bit uncomfortable, but in the long term and long haul view, it's all designed to help you feel better, and you'll feel better over time. But sometimes you have a little bit of stuff you have to rumble with or work through, and you have to be a little bit open and a little bit vulnerable. Again, why it's so important to choose a therapist that you feel safe with and comfortable with, that you can talk with, you can share the good stuff in your life, you can laugh with them, you can cry with them. It's a relationship. Your therapist can guide you, but they can't do all the work for you, right? You're gonna have some work to do if you wanna change and grow. So it can be sometimes in the short term a little uncomfortable, but the benefits for your long-term life are immeasurable. I think it's so worth it. I hope if you're on the fence, you'll consider trying therapy. You might be a little bit nervous because it's something new. And if you're trying out a new therapist or a new kind of therapist, a new kind of therapy, maybe you've always done cognitive behavioral and now you're gonna try art therapy because you've heard it's great. It really is. I do a lot of it with clients. Of course, you might be a little bit nervous and have little butterflies, but that's normal, healthy, because you're trying something new. And in order to grow and change, you have to take a little bit of risk, be a little bit vulnerable, and so that you can learn and grow and become the person that you want to be in the world. And a therapist can really help you with that. So I would love to hear from you in the comments. What's your experience with therapy? How have you found a great therapist? If you're a little nervous, are you willing to give it a try? I've been a therapist for over a decade here in California. It's a job that I absolutely love, so I'm excited to share about it with you on the channel. I'll have lots of educational videos coming about some of my favorite interventions, my favorite types of therapy, issues that might come up in therapy, such as boundaries or mindfulness. So join me on this journey of learning more about mental health and personal growth, and I'll see you in the next video, so make sure you're subscribed. Bye, friends.